Okay, in this video we will finally be looking at how to construct DFAs for different languages. And we will begin with finite languages, means the language which has finite number of strings. And we will find out that it is possible to construct finite automatons for any finite languages, and hence all the finite languages are regular language. Before we start constructing DFA, we will just look at a few guidelines about how to construct DFAs. You will always start from the initial state. You will always start from the initial state. Okay, so you scan the string from the initial state. So before you see any symbol, you are at the initial state, and the tape head points to the first symbol, and the machine is at the initial state. This is the initial configuration of the machine. Okay, and you construct DFA in such a way that if the string being scanned belongs to the language of the DFA, then it would end at the final state. So this is the initial state, and then you will give or you will define moves, you will introduce new states. The ultimate motive is to get to the final state, and that final state will encompass all those strings that will be a part of the language. This is how you approach to construct the DFA. So initially you will have an initial state. If your language has epsilon string, means empty string, if in the language empty string is there, then the initial state will also be the final state, and depending on what are the other strings in the language, you will proceed to make the DFA for the language. Okay, let's take some examples of finite languages and construct DFAs for them. Let's say L1 is equal to, and then L2, L3. Let's take three finite examples: A, B. Okay, so the alphabet is A and B. L2 equals to B, B, AB. And L3 is equal to AB, BA, BB, AA. So the three examples, and we will try to construct DFAs for this. So for L1, let's say this is the DFA for the language L1. Okay, so there will be a initial state for sure. Okay, very good. Now there is no epsilon in L1. There is no epsilon in L1. So Q0 will not be a initial state, will not be a final state. And what we have to do? So what you should do is you should look how you can proceed to get to the final state. Okay, so take these two guidelines. Number one, you start from the initial state. Number two, from initial state you proceed in a way that how to get to the final state, in the direction of getting the final state. And number three, if you are in a state and you see some symbol, if you are in a state and you see a symbol and it is certain that whatever the remaining symbols are, this string will not be a part, is not a part of the language, then from that state you go to the dead state. So there are three guidelines, and I have written a note of it. And actually these things are not to be remembered. These things are not supposed to be memorized. With practice, these things comes automatically. It's because it's the first time dealing with constructing DFAs, I have written down as a helping manual. What your approach is that you want to go from initial state to the final state, and while this is what your approach should be. While constructing DFA, you look to get to the final state from initial state, and while traversing the string, if you see a symbol from the state and it is certain that whatever comes afterward, the string is not part of the language, give the transition to the dead state, and we will see what the dead state, what we mean by dead state in a little while. Okay,